My married neighbor is cheating on her husband with at least 2 different guys that I know of, and I don't know if I should say anything. Almost 3 years ago, my boyfriend and I settled into our home. Then, last year, a couple in their mid-30s moved into the house next to ours. Our homes are terraced and have 2 levels, meaning we share a wall. Both our houses have 2 bedrooms upstairs. We soon realized that this couple picked the bedroom that's right next to ours. This became clear because we often heard them making love at night. It wasn't extremely loud or over the top, but we could definitely hear the bed moving and the slapping of flesh on flesh, which was distracting enough. We both found it funny at first, but then they began doing it very early in the morning, especially on weekends. They would do it several times in a row with breaks in between. This began to disrupt our sleep. So, we decided to switch rooms. Now, the bedroom we used to sleep in is my home office where I work from home. While they were both working from home and I was in my new home office, I'd still hear them going at it during the day every now and then, but I just put on my headphones and try and ignore it. No big deal and good on them for having such an active, intimate life. When the husband returned to working in the office, I didn't have to use my headphones as much, and I thought that would be the end of the story. However, a few weeks after he went back, the midday intimate sounds began again, even more enthusiastic and frequent than before. This was strange because I didn't see her husband's car outside. I also noticed that their doorbell would ring just before the noises started. Getting curious, I peeked through our blinds almost every day and saw a man parking his van a little way up the street, visiting next door for about an hour and then leaving. Moreover, I've even seen a different man showing up from time to time. I've been cheated on before, albeit in a much more casual relationship when I was younger, and think it's one of the most disrespectful and hurtful things someone can do to another person. It makes me so sad for her husband, and hearing her go at it with these guys on an almost daily basis is getting me increasingly annoyed and angry. My boyfriend says I just need to ignore it, and it's not worth getting caught up in these things. I kind of agree, but I almost feel like making some kind of anonymous tip-off to let her husband know somehow. What do you guys think? Update: for those saying mind my own business, I get that to an extent, but it kind of becomes my business when it's distracting me from work on a daily basis. There's been a few times I've had calls while it's been going on and I just have to pray that the noise canceling from my mic is doing its job, and be extra quick on the mute button when I'm not talking. A lot of people are saying to separate the 2 issues, which seems like good advice. After all, it's the noise that's impacting me personally. Even if it was her and her husband, that would still be a major annoyance for me. In fact, even though we've moved rooms, we can still hear them most nights and often early mornings too. I honestly don't know how she can manage so much lovemaking. Admittedly, the cheating aspect, assuming it's not some kind of open relationship thing they have going on, which seems unlikely, but yes, I suppose it is possible, is adding to my emotional response for sure, but ultimately that's between them, not me. As much as I empathize with the husband, again, assuming he's unaware, I do agree with a lot of the comments here that it's not my place to out her, and not worth being in any way involved for the potential fallout. My boyfriend also shares this view. Reporting to the council or police just doesn't seem like an option. I mean it is, but it would be obvious it was us who complained and neither of us want to go down that path. I think I will have to try to pluck up the courage and maybe try to bring it up casually the next time I see her on her own and hope for the best. On the bright side, their neighbor on the other side is an older guy who is practically deaf, so if they at least swapped rooms like we did, there's less chance of the other neighbor hearing them going at it. Full update: well, it turns out there was a twist after all. After all my moaning, my boyfriend got talking to the guy out the back over the weekend, and as sensitively and politely as possible brought up the subject of the noise and well. Long story short, they are adult content creators. Obviously he never mentioned anything about the guys showing up, but we think it's probably safe to assume he's well aware. The husband was also very apologetic and admitted they were both worried about noise, but they figured it must not be that bad as we've never mentioned anything all this time and that they tend not to hear much from us. It turns out the wife is now doing this as her main job and quit her previous job months ago, and they already planned on turning their spare room into her studio, which if happens should mean much less noise for us. Kudos to all of you that called me out for being so presumptuous that she was cheating. Lesson learned: not to jump to conclusions.